Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Memory Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Bring you our Week 16 NFL Wraparound video. This is the last Wraparound we'll do. Jury duty is finally over. It was over with yesterday, so you guys get to see my beautiful face back in its regularly scheduled form next week, Week 17. So I want to thank everyone that's involved here at Football Game Plan. Also want to wish you guys a happy holidays. And to all of the fan forums that show Football Game Plan support, I appreciate that as well. So we're going to get this video kicked off by taking a look at Atlanta versus Detroit. Atlanta heads to Detroit to take on the Lions. And when you look at this Falcons offense, yes, they're coming off a 34-point output versus the New York Giants, but I think the key guy in this ball game, once again, like I said last week, will be Harry Douglas. The ability to control the slot is key versus a team that loves to spread the field like the Atlanta Falcons. For Detroit, they're going to have to find ways to get the football to other guys instead of Calvin Johnson. Their offense has become one-dimensional, and they can't do that versus the Falcons. Now, defensively, they got to make sure they take away one Tony Gonzalez and also Harry Douglas. I don't think it will happen. I think the Falcons win this ball game. Oakland taking on Carolina. Big game right here for both parties involved. For the Raiders, you want to see if Terrell Pryor will get more playing time, because we know what we get out of Carson Palmer. The running game will be there with Darren McFadden and will be even more of an impact versus the Panthers if they utilize Terrell Pryor. For Carolina, you look at what they've done over the last couple of weeks. They've involved more of traditional running sets, traditional passing plays, and the offense has taken flight. They're going to have to make sure defensively they don't get reached on the ends, because that could get Darren McFadden to the edges. I think they do a great job bottling up the running game and winning this one at home. Next up is New Orleans traveling to Dallas to take on the Cowboys, and you have to be impressed with what you saw last week from that Saints defense. 41 points scored offensively, 0 given up for the Saints defense, which was much maligned all season long. Looks like the light has finally started to come on for these guys. This game, they're going to have to make sure they make it Tony Romo versus Drew Brees. You want to take away the running game, force the Cowboys to be one-dimensional. Now, when you look at the Cowboys in this matchup, you look at what they can do well. Top to bottom, their starting 5 skill players are some of the best players in the league, and they can do damage with their base personnel. They're going to have to get multiple in that base personnel to attack the Saints defense. Quietly, I think the Saints offense will be the reason why they win this game. I'm going with New Orleans. Tennessee taking on Green Bay. When you look at the Titans, you see a lot of explosive parts to an offense. The one piece that's lacking is the quarterback position, and it's the consistency throwing the football. Locker is a great athlete, but he makes questionable decisions with the football. Attacking Green Bay, they can have some success because of their ability to go 3 wide, 4 wide, and sometimes empty. For the Packers, you look at what they're going to have to do. Let's look at their defense. Can they make sure they close the door versus Chris Johnson? Do not allow him to slip through those cracks and break it for a 70 or 80-yard gain. I think they can do that. Now, offensively, they're going to be able to take shots deep down the field. The passing game was there for the Jets. They just couldn't complete passes. I like the Packers to win this game due to their offense. Minnesota, Houston, as much as I want to see Adrian Peterson get 2,200 yards, you have to be more than one-dimensional versus a team like the Houston Texans. Running against a 3-4 defense, natural bubbles, natural creases for him to hit the cutback. The problem is, if he gets stopped, can Christian Ponder make the necessary throws to be successful? For the Texans, you look at their defense, starting with J.J. Watt, and it's a simple approach to this week's ball game. Gap discipline, gap integrity, win on first, second, and quite possibly third down, because expect Christian Ponder to throw the football at least 16 times a game. You can't be one-dimensional and expect to beat the Texans. I like Houston to win this matchup. Patriots taking on Jacksonville, and you have to be impressed with the second half of the Patriots offense. You saw what they were able to do, put up a bunch of points and almost win this ball game. It's the multiplicity in their approach that can give the Jaguars problems on their defensive side of the football. So look for the Patriots to utilize their backs as receivers, tight ends in the backfield, get creative to cause different mismatch opportunities. For the Jags, defensively, they're going to have to score at least 1 touchdown. They're going to have to get some big plays on their special teams. You want to shrink this ball game, and you have to win in all 3 facets in order to beat New England. I don't see it happening. I like the Patriots to go on the road and knock off the Jaguars. Big game between Kansas City and Indianapolis. When you look at the Colts in this matchup, Andrew Luck's ball security is always going to be a question going into a ball game. We know the Colts can move the football 20-20, but when they get inside the red zone, can they capitalize? You need touchdowns and not field goals versus Kansas City, because quite honestly, this is a team that matches up very well versus the Colts. So they're going to have to make sure they execute and finish those drives with 7s and not 3s. Now for the Chiefs, it's all about Jamal Charles and what he can bring to the table. Quiet as kept, he's been one of the best running backs in this league this year, and no one's talking about him. his ability to go from 0 to 60 in one play gives the Chiefs a chance, but I like the Colts to win this ball game. Too much consistency from the quarterback position to go otherwise. Buffalo at Miami. When you look at Stevie Johnson and what he has done, he's played some good football. The problem is they don't have the consistency from Ryan Fitzpatrick to keep that balance going. So they're going to have to run the football against this tough run defense of Miami. If they're going to do that, then they can have some success. Defensively, I like what I see so far. Yes, they gave up a lot of points to Seattle. That's due to the fact that the offense kept putting these guys back on the field, but the defense has been improving. For the Dolphins, Reggie Bush catching fire once again, giving him the football makes things easier for Ryan Tannehill to operate off play action. So I think what's going to happen, the Dolphins will spread out the Bills, attack the individual matchups. So look for the Dolphins to win this ball game at home. Next, we have the Chargers taking on the Jets, and the Chargers will be without the services of their tailback, Ryan Matthews. I'm pretty sure they're used to playing without him in the backfield, so a lot will be asked of Phillip Rivers in that passing game. Attacking the Jets defense, look for these guys to work the middle of the field with Antonio Gates and moving Malcolm Floyd around the formation to get those optimum matchups. Now, for the Jets, they're starting Greg McElroy. Can they give him a set of plays where he can be comfortable and get into a groove early? If they can do that, then the receivers are going to have to catch the ball. They're going to have to run the football well. A lot of things are going to have to go well for McElroy to have success. I don't think that will happen. The Chargers will find a way to win this game out here in the Meadowlands. Big game in the NFC East between the Redskins and the Eagles, and this is a tale of two teams going in the same direction on both sides of the football. The offense has been consistent for the Redskins. The defense has gotten a lot better, and they're going to have to play their best game versus a team in Philadelphia that has gotten better offensively since Nick Foles has been at the helm. And they can't forget to strip the football from Bryce Brown, who struggles with fumbleitis right now. And you look at the Eagles, like I said, their defense has gotten worse, their offense has gotten better. So in this game, when you look at what they can do well, they can just stay the course offensively. They're just going to have to protect the football. If they can do that, look for a shootout in Philadelphia, pun intended. But I like the Redskins to win this ball game. I think right now they have a lot more to play for than Philadelphia. Big divisional game right here between the Bengals and the Steelers. And if this young Bengals football team is going to take the next step to be successful and get into the playoffs, they're going to have to beat tough teams like the Steelers and the Ravens, both whom they haven't beaten yet. And they have to face both guys in back-to-back weeks. That could be the difference between a losing season and a playoff berth. For the Steelers, consistency is the key. Yes, they lost Ben Roethlisberger for 2 games, and that pretty much put them in this situation now where they have to win a game. But this defense has to play better. They have to do a better job of getting off the field. How do they match up versus A.J. Green will be the question. And I like the Steelers to win this game, and I think that's going to make it a lot more interesting in the AFC North in the final weeks. This is a game between the Rams and the Buccaneers that feature 2 all-time greats on both sides of the football. When you look at the Rams all-time great, you look at Steven Jackson, quiet superstar. He leads their offense, but this game is going to have to be won on their defensive side. They're going to have to match up versus the spread of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they're going to have to stop the run. So a lot of pressure will be put on that defensive line. For the Bucs, you look at their quiet superstar, and that's Rondé Barber, the free safety. This guy moved from corner to free safety effortlessly, and he's going to play a huge role in keying on Sam Bradford and disguising his coverages. But on offense, they have to protect the football. When they do that, they can blow out any team in the league. I don't think they blow out the Rams. I think the Rams actually win because I like their defense to come away with a few stops needed to get the ball back for their own offense. Cleveland taking on Denver. When you look at the Browns offense, you look at a team that can do some great things, but the problem is they don't have consistency within their scheme to be effective. They got to decide a happy medium on running, passing, and what they want to do, who they want to feature. If they can do that, they can have some success versus the Broncos. Now, when you look at Denver in this game, biggest question I have is, can they continue to play with tempo? Can they continue to control the pace of the game? And I have to say yes. I think the Broncos do a great job of dictating what opposing defenses do. And on the defense side of the football, they're facing a rookie quarterback in Brandon Wheaton. Look for them to unleash a lot of pressure and get creative in their coverages. I like the Broncos. Chicago taking on Arizona. Big game for the Bears. They have to win this in order to jump back into the playoffs. And I think what they're going to have to do offensively is get back to basics. So look for a lot of carries for Matt Forte, Michael Bush, have color operate off play action. That way you can protect him and save your defense the agony of going back on the field due to 3 and outs. Now for the Cardinals, we talked about their offense and how terrible their quarterback play is, but defensively they have to play better. They can win this ball game by just their defense and special teams alone. That's how good they are defensively, and that's how excellent a punt returner Patrick Peterson is. I don't think it'll happen. I think the Bears win this ball game because you have to look at the quarterbacks and you have to look at their ability to put points on the board. Next up, we have essentially a playoff elimination game between the Giants and the Baltimore Ravens. When you look at the Giants offensively, you look at the pieces that they have available. They can be explosive. They can drop 30 on you, but they also have the propensity to shoot themselves in the foot. Baltimore loves to apply the pressure. It's going to be up to that offensive line of the Giants to continue to play excellent football and keeping Eli Manning well protected. Now, on the Ravens side, they have some pieces as well. They just got to understand that the best piece they have is Ray Rice in the backfield. You want to take the ball out of Joe Flacco's hands and allow him to operate off play action. Feed Ray Rice, and that's how you can win this game. I like the Giants in this matchup. Passing the football, they can run the football. Their defense can't get after the quarterback. Look for the Giants to win this game in all three facets of it. Spotlight game of the week is between the San Francisco 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks. When you look at the 49ers, I love the way they play with physicality. Their defense, everyone on their defense has the ability to knock the stuffing out of an opposing offensive player. Now, on offense, they have to make sure they get Kaepernick in a groove early with the passing game. We know they can run the football, and that's what worked in the first meeting. They were able to gash these guys down the middle, but you got to get Kaepernick in an early groove. For the Seahawks, you have to look at what they do well. They can play spread. They can go I formation. They can go zone. They can get versatile in their offensive attack, and they're going to have to come with more creativity versus a team that knows them very well in San Francisco. And you look at the defensive side, and you got to ask yourself, has things changed this time around as they take on the San Francisco 49ers? I don't know if they have. When you look at last week's game, last week's blowout versus Buffalo, C.J. Spiller was able to gas these guys in the running game. So you know the 49ers will come in this matchup trying to run Frank Gore down their throat, and if they're going to win this game, they're going to have to stop Frank Gore. I think they do stop Frank Gore or slow him down enough to put it on Kaepernick to make plays consistently. I like the Seahawks to win. Look for this game to be a very great game, and these two teams may end up seeing each other later on in the playoffs.